Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Grinch Collection by China Glaze for holiday 2018. These were sent to me for review, so in the description box below I will link the China Glaze site, I will link their Instagram page, and I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from this collection. So this collection has 8 new shades as well as 3 glue-on nail sets. So I'm going to show you the sets or photos of the sets as well as swatches of all 8 polishes. And before I start, I wanted to mention the caps for this collection have these cute little Grinch designs on them. This one has him like stealing ornaments and being a sneaky little Grinch. And then the other option for the caps is his little devious face. So I thought that was a really super cute additive to the collection, as well as they have changed their brushes. I will insert videos over this showing a comparison of the new brushes versus the old brushes. They are a little bit wider and squared off. So 8 shades, let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Ho Ho No, and this is a bright Christmas red with a gold kind of flaky fleck to it. So here is our first coat of Ho Ho No. The formula on this is good. It's not too thick or too thin. I didn't have any kind of running or pooling or anything like that. The coverage is really good here on this first coat. It's not completely opaque though, so I am going to go in for a second coat. These little gold particles that are in here aren't particularly glitter, but they do dry like a glitter. So some of them I believe are glitter, but most of them are these tiny little flecks. I'm not really sure. There's something I've never seen. They do dry textured and they do take a little bit of more scrubbing to remove, but they're not difficult, if that makes any sense. You'll want 1, maybe 2 coats of a glossy top coat to finish this off, just to hide all of that texture and because it does dry down pretty dull. The new brushes are extremely easy to work with though. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Who Wonder, and this is a shimmery berry pinky red shade. Here's our first coat of Who Wonder. And you'll have to excuse me, I am very tired and I haven't had any coffee yet, so I might be a little bit out of it. The formula on this is on the thinner side. You don't want to have too much on your brush or you will have some running and pooling. If you use a base coat, that might help a little bit. This one, the coverage is pretty good as well. It's not completely opaque, so I am going to go for a second coat. So here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats for me. Nothing in here is going to dry textured. Nothing in here is going to be difficult to remove either. And I didn't have any kind of staining or anything like that with this one either. So there's 2 coats. Next up we have Merry Whatever, and this is a white gold shade with holographic glitter. Here's our first coat of Merry Whatever. The formula on this is pretty thick. It's one of those that after a couple uses you're definitely going to want some thinner to put in there because it does get a little bit goopy after a few uses. The coverage is pretty good though. I'm not going to complain about that. You do get a good amount of the holographic glitter and you don't have to do any kind of fishing or anything like that to get them. Here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats for me, and with it being so thick, if you have to go in for a third coat, I would definitely add some thinner. This one's going to dry slightly textured, so you'll want a glossy top coat to finish this off, and the removal process is just that, it's a process. These glitters are pretty doggone difficult to get off. So there's 2 coats. Next up we have Grinch Worthy, and this is a kind of grassy green, and it's got these darker green micro glitter. It does have some gold flakes to it and a little bit of silver micro glitter as well. Here's our first coat of Grinch Worthy. This covers pretty good here on this first coat for being a completely micro glitter polish. It's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat. The formula on this is on the thicker side as well. It's not nearly as thick as the last polish, but it is definitely thicker than the first 2 polishes were. So here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats for me. Depending on your application, I could see you needing 3 coats for this one, but I am going in for nice medium coats, and I do have full coverage. This one's also going to dry textured, so you'll want top coat to finish this off, and the removal is going to be pretty difficult for this one as well because there is a ton of glitter. I would highly recommend a peel-off base coat. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Deliciously Wicked, and this is like a frosty blue shade with holographic micro glitter. Here's our first coat of Deliciously Wicked. Cooper says hi. This one is a little bit sheer here on this first coat. The formula is pretty good though. There's no running or pulling. It's not too thick or too thin. It's actually very easy to work with. The base itself does have a few brush strokes throughout it. There's not a ton when you're applying, but the ones that are there are going to hang around. So just bear that in mind and work in as straight coats as you can, or you can sponge on your final coat. So this is building up in 2 coats depending on how picky you are. If you're not super picky, you could get away with 2 coats. I am going to go for 3 coats today though. The frosty-ish feel with the glitter is not my preferred style of polish, but it does have a time and it does have a place, so I'm not knocking it. It does look nice and like wintry and frosty, so it's not a bad polish for this collection. So this is completely opaque in 3 coats for me. This one's going to dry pretty textured as well because of the holographic and silver glitter that are in here, so you'll want a top coat, maybe 2 coats of it to finish this one off. I would also highly recommend a peel-off base coat for this one because it is pretty hard to take off. These little glitters want to get everywhere and stick to your nail as well. So there is 3 coats. Next up we have your Amine one, and this is a plummy purple with a strong copper to fuchsia shimmer. Here's our first coat of your Amine one. And this covers pretty well here on this first coat. It's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat. This one also has the same formula feel as the pink one. It is on the thinner side, where if you do thicker coats, you might have problems with running and pulling. If you work in nice thin coats, that shouldn't be an issue. The shimmer that's in here stands out really, really nicely, and I can totally appreciate that. This is completely opaque here in 2 coats. Nothing in here is going to dry textured. Nothing in here is going to be difficult to remove. You will want a top coat to finish this off just for longevity purposes. This one also dries very glossy on its own. So there's 2 coats. Next up we have Resting Grinch Face, and this is a clear base with a bunch of blue, red, gold, silver, hollow, and green hex glitter, and then there are micro glitter, I believe, of coordinating colors as well. So here's 1 coat of Resting Grinch Face over a Christmas green and Christmas red. You get a ton of glitter out. You don't have to do anything special to get any of the glitter out. I feel like it looks really good over the green. It looks like that nice tacky Christmas tree that we all can totally see in our minds. This one's going to dry pretty textured, so you want a glossy top coat to finish it off, and removal is going to be a little bit difficult, especially if you build it up on its own, which if you're going to do, I would recommend sponging. So there is 1 coat. And lastly for today we have Lukewarm Wishes, and this is, I believe, a clear base that is entirely made up of this shimmer that goes from like a teal to a blue to a purple at extreme angles. Here's our first coat of Lukewarm Wishes, and this one is going to go over this darker blue and this lighter blue. It gives like a nice wintry, icy feel to it. This one you do have to work with spreading out evenly on the nail. If you do layer it over darker colors, it is easy to get too much in one spot and not enough in another spot, so just bear that in mind. Nothing in here is going to dry textured, nothing in here is going to be difficult to remove, but this is going to look absolutely beautiful over everything you put it over. So there is 1 coat. And then here is just a quick look at the press-on nails that I couldn't remember the word to call them at the beginning. They were very easy to use. My nails were a little bit long for a couple of them though, so just bear that in mind if you use them. So I've got 4 standouts here. The first one being Grinch Worthy. This is so the Grinch. I chose this one just because it went so well with the theme. This is beautiful as well, completely opaque in 2 coats, a great formula, and the gold and the green micro glitter that are in here adds so much depth to the polish. I can really appreciate that. The next one, and probably I'm gonna say my favorite of all of them, would be Resting Grinch Face. This looks like a tacky Christmas tree to me, and I think it's so beautiful and so fitting for the season, so I really, really love that. I also love your Amine one. I love these purples with the shimmer. These deeper kind of plum shades with that strong coppery, pinky, goldy, any kind of shimmer of that family, I thoroughly, thoroughly love, and it is pretty much the only shades of purple that I will wear, so I really appreciate them when I find them. And then the last one being Ho Ho No. Red and gold, quintessential holiday shades, and this is both in one bottle, so I love that. So those 4 are my top picks from the collection. Let me know what you guys thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up. Let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye.